What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Outside the Clutch. Tonight we have a guest that I'm pretty excited to see what he has to say. There's a lot of history between us. There should be some pretty funny stories. We have similar taste in music and all kinds of good stuff. So I'm sure tonight's going to be a little bit of everything besides just snake talk. Should be some music talk, some laughs, all kinds of good stuff. Before we jump in, I just want to say thank you to everyone that continues to support this. Like I say regularly, you guys are kind of an inspiration for me. I want to always give back, and this is one of the things I do to give back to y'all. I want to thank our sponsors. Obviously, we have VivTech products. VivTech has been leading the industry in the last, I want to say, year and a half ish now, and they want to continuously upgrade our husbandry and the way we're keeping our animals. That's super important to me. It should be super important to all of us that are keeping animals. You're not going to be successful in anything you do with animals unless you're willing to give them the proper husbandry. That being said, if you are interested in any of their products, we have a code to help you out because times are hard with money for some. We see inflation going up, but I could get you 15% off anything site wide, and all the profits that we get from our affiliate code go directly back to USARK. I don't keep any of that. So that's our way of helping support USARK consistently throughout the year, besides our membership and things like that, right? If you do see anything you like on VivTechProducts.com, use FClutch0322 for your 15% off. We're also a huge supporter of Reptile, and they decided to support us back. They are a sponsor of the show. I'm a representative. I have freaking loved the substrate since I started. JT and me are both veterans. I really enjoy supporting other veterans in the community, and this is my way of giving back to him for all the like knowledge and support that he's given me over the years. He's been there since I was a little goofy kid coming out of the army and thought I was going to be all cool. So if you're in the El Paso area, come directly to me. If you're not in the El Paso area, you want to try Rep to chip out, you can use Fealys Chippin' for 10% off of 2 breeder blocks. And then Show Me Snake Shows. Mickey is a freaking monster, man. Like, he does so much in the community. He was at Daytona this past weekend. He's throwing 2 different shows this weekend. Like, the dude just freaking works. He's a workaholic. I'm super excited to be working with him, having him as a sponsor on our show. You're going to see us start traveling to other Show Me Snake shows. Not sure how far out of Texas I'm getting yet, but we're determining that right now. And we're going to start spreading the love for those shows. So if you haven't checked out the Show Me Snake Show circuit yet, make sure you go to their website. It's going to be down in the link below, and see all the new shows coming up, see one coming near you, and check it out. All right. Without further ado, that I know those 3 sponsors get like a huge spot. I feel like I drag on those 3 minutes or so that I do it. But without further ado, before he gets too happy-go-lucky in the background over there, I'm going to introduce my man, Adam Webb of Ghoulsby'S Serpents. I'm super excited for this dude. What's up, my man? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, brother. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, bro. I'm doing great. Just another lovely day with animals and doing my thing, like learning how to hustle. It's
I've been hustling
something different, you know what I mean? Like we all have our own forms of hustling, right? And then
yeah, definitely.
You gotta like jump to it, and like it kind of evolves over time. So it's learning to put the hustle into solely animals and like content and stuff now versus, oh well, I had that backup job and stuff now. Now the full focus is here. It's a little crazy, man, and learning how to drive it. But
yeah, for sure. For sure.
You have one of the most unique names in the industry.
Thank you.
A lot of people just say like ball pythons or exotics or reptiles or whatever, right? Like, yeah, you did add the serpents because you work with snakes, obviously, but you use you used your love of other things, which I think is freaking amazing. So
Yeah.
what pulled you in to decide Goulsby'S Serpents?
Um, I've been a nerd for a long time, man.
Freaking nerd.
But mostly it's, you know, I have a background of playing Dungeons and Dragons, being a
Right.
video gamer, really involved in like horror punk music, death metal, punk rock. And Goulsby's, it ended up, I created it quite some time ago. I just made it as a gamer tag. That's my Xbox gamer tag, is Goulsby Adams. You know, I've been a fan of the Munsters and the Adams family and all. So I took some horror punk names and made it my own, if you will, and put the serpents on it, man. And my buddy of mine, you know, with the logo and whatnot, he's been, I got some of his artwork on me, and I was like, hey bro, I got this, you know, this
So it's your tattoo artist that did it.
yes, yeah, if you couldn't tell
That's
within
awesome.
the artwork, man, it's a tattoo artist that
Okay.
did my artwork for me. Yeah, he's a buddy of mine, man. We grew up together as kids. We've known each other since we were 12, 13 years old, played music together. We used to play in death metal band and together and whatnot. So yeah, man, mostly it was just, you know, Dungeons and Dragons, video games, and music. Just, that's it.
So what got you into the serpents?
Like the name serpents, or just the snakes and all?
Oh, like just snakes in general, man. Like,
Shoot, in high school, I had a couple of animals. I was doing like African cichlids. I had a nice acrylic 100-gallon tank of African cichlids. And one day, you know, it was my birthday. I'll tell you, I didn't listen to my mom. My mom said, Adam Webb, do not come home with a snake. And I came home with a snake. I think I was like 17 or something like that, man. It was in, let's see, 17, I was 92. So I went and got a ball python, brought it home, just, you know, normal, classic, wild type, whatever, because like morphs, genetics, those didn't exist back then from what I knew anyways of it. So yeah, I had a couple of snakes in high school. I had a ball python, actually, and then for a little while, and then I went and got a Burmese python and had her for a bit. Life happened, unfortunately, with bad news. We had to move out of our house. Situation with mom, losing her job. You know, company went under, if you will, and we moved in with the grandparents. And the grandparents were like, the African cichlid tank is cool. The reptiles, no way. So, unfortunately, man, I had to get rid of the snakes, and I gave my ball python to a good friend of mine, and Bud, I ended up naming him. I can't recall how long he lived, man. But back in the 90s, the captive, you know, there wasn't a lot of captive breeding going on and whatnot. So he lasted, I think, I want to say like 10, 12 years. And then the Burmese python I just ended up giving her back to the shop because I took the best possible care of her. And so instead of just, you know, throwing her out in the wild or whatnot, I took her back to the shop that I bought her from, and they just took her back. So that was cool. But that's what got me into it, man. But, you know, the years passed, got married, had kids, life happened, blah, blah, blah. Right. And I got a bonus from my job. And I was like, man, I haven't had a snake in a long time. And my girlfriend, who's now my wife, she's like, well, I have a reptile cage. And I'm like, well, that makes it easier because, as you know, the enclosure is another cost. But March 5th, 2018, I bought a caramel albino. And that's what started it all up again. And then I started doing more research about them and everything. I mean, shit, man, I had the indoor-outdoor carpet in the tank at first and everything. Because, of course, that's what the shop told me to do.
At least you didn't do the heat rock anymore, bro.
I had one of those things too, man. Damn. But yeah, so I once I got him, man, I started becoming a helicopter parent and like doing research and more research. I remember, bro, I would come home on my lunch break and check my temps, like, is he good? Is he good? And then I'd go back to work. But once I started doing all the research,
freaking out the whole time. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're just like freaking out the whole time.
Yeah, man. I'm at work. You know, I'm pulling on syringes because I mix drugs for a living. And when I'm pulling on syringes, like, I'm hoping my snake's okay. Hopefully he's not escaped or whatnot. You know, it's been a while.
So what do you do for your 9 to 5?
I'm a pharmacy technician. I've been doing that for 26 years now, man. But yeah, I work pharmacy tech, and I mix oncology drugs. You know, oncology for those that don't have cancer medications. There's other meds that I do mix for patients and all, but the majority of, No, but majority of it's oncology meds though.
Okay. And then, so you started with it, and you had to let it go, and then you said you came back 18. Dude, you just got back into it right before we met then.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Matter of fact, the first show I wanted, maybe it was the second show. No, it was the first.
Pomona. It was Pomona,
Pomona.
of
Yeah.
18.
That was
All
the first
Pomona's
show me and my boys went
like
to.
July.
Yeah. Yeah, it was my first show that I went to. I made a goal to meet Cusco, Miguel Garcia, Garrett Hartle, and luckily enough I met you as well.
That's a good group to be named in, man. I still don't think I'm anywhere near any of those guys' levels. I don't know that I ever will be, but I enjoy what I do.
Man. I feel you. I mean, hey, there's, for us, they're the people that my mentors, if you will. They intrigued me to be like, dude, check out that snake, man. I'm gonna go look up some more information about that shit. That's bad.
You start freaking out and you see what you could do, and you're just like, man, it's possible. Like, I've seen other people do it. How am I gonna do it?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Get it. It's freaking.
Yeah, lit my ass on fire. Lit my ass on fire.
You were like the only person. Like, I still remember this now, and I'm glad that we talked before we did. Like, I was trying to figure out for the longest time who that was, because I couldn't put a face to it anymore. It's been so long, you know what I mean? I was like, I remembered putting out the challenge for shirts, and I remember taking a backpack full of shirts, but I was like, who the hell was it that showed up and actually stopped me, man?
Yeah, that was this guy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I remember coming up and introducing myself or whatnot, and I remember your wife and her sweet little voice that she has. You need to give him a shirt, John. I should try to replicate that shit. You need to give him a shirt, John. I was like, right on. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'm glad, man. It's turned into a really, I want to say, like, fruitful friendship over the years. So it's been nice, man. Like, it's allowed us to really get to know each other, and that's one of the things I love about the community. I don't think everyone gets full advantage of that sometimes. Like, we get so caught up in the breeding and everything else that, or like even trying to build a brand, which I'm not saying it's wrong to do any of that, and we'll get into that later. But I think the relationships that you get out of this, you never know where it's going to take you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, definitely. It's like, with you mentioning that, there was a time where a gentleman that lived up north, good friends with Cusco, he hit me up going, hey, man, I think it was Carpet Fest 2020, that 2020 Carpet Fest did not end up happening.
Right.
But I won't say too much, but there ended up being a small little get-together for a birthday party instead of the Carpet Fest and everything. Because, that was the times of COVID and all that kind of, it slowed life down quite a bit. But I still got an invite to go up north and hang out with some people and everything. So, it's awesome to meet people like that, man. It got me out of Southern California myself. I'm father of 2 kids. I mean, granted, my boys, they're 20 and 17 now. So, they do their thing and all. But, it's nice to be able to I don't get out of Southern California very often is my point. So it was cool to travel up to Central California anyways. I mean,
right.
It was cool to hang out with people and meet other people that I probably wouldn't have if I didn't go to that gathering, if you will. And that's a good time. It's a damn good time.
Hold on.
It's like even going to shows, brother, walking around. It's like my wife and I, was my girlfriend. Her and I have been married for half a year now. But we started doing shows. And before that, it was just going and visiting some of my favorite breeders and favorite people that I watched on either YouTube or just walking around and picking people's brains on how to learn the business. Rich McCall, I'll say his name. He's one gentleman I love going and talking to at every show I go to, even if I don't have a chance, like now with us vending shows and all. I always make it a point to go stop by his table if I have a chance, just to shake a hand. Like, hey, man, it's good to see you. Sorry, I got to go, though. It's cool. It's cool.
What's that been like, man? Like, you've been keeping pretty much as long as I have. I vended my first show, like actual animals this year. What was some of the takeaways that you would say you learned this year, especially doing Pomona, man? That's a huge freaking show. Oh, you got nervous. Like, how do I want to put this?
Yeah, I did, man.
Shoot,
man. The takeaways is that one thing that trips me out on it, man, is that and I don't want to talk trash. That's not what I'm meaning to come across. But one thing that trips me out is that a lot of people that stop by the booth, we're very open to, hey, you want to handle an animal? Because there's a lot of people that have never held a snake in their entire life. And you're like, what? Are you kidding me? Oh, we're going to change that today. If you're willing and want to. I'm not going to force anything on anybody, of course. But a lot of people said, oh, hey, thanks for letting us hang out and hold some snakes and all. There's other people here that don't let us do so. And it's like, huh? But I mean, isn't that how you make a sale? I mean, I would think so anyway.
It's a mentality, dude. Like it's hard to break for some. Like the people that have been in here, I understand it. And that's why I'm very particular. Like I'm gonna go for one of the bigger the big show here in Texas. I'm asking for my spot this year. So hopefully the next year or so I'll start vending that. But you want to be familiar with the people that you're around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you want to make sure that person to your left and right is clean and they take care of their animals so that you can actually do that. And that's why a lot of people have stopped over the years, man. Is just there was such an infestation of people coming in and passing like mites or other stuff. And it's hard for a show like that, man, because like I love Rami. Rami's a great dude, but with that many vendors, man, it's hard for him to go through and check all the animals and things like that, and even with his giant crew, man, it's just like Pomona's what, huge. Three football fields almost.
Yeah, 3 acres, 5 acres, or something like that, man. Of just people. I mean, granted, you got from your crafts to people printing T-shirts to people making jewelry to turtles. I mean, everything's there. Everything.
Whatever you want to find, they'll find.
Yeah. You might even be able to find a little bit of that if you wanted.
Well, I mean, it is CALI.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think it's a norm that some of us younger guys take for granted, or at least younger in the industry, we take for granted. Like we're going to walk up and if we want to purchase something, we're going to hold it in our hands. And obviously the seller's going to hopefully put it in our hands. You know what I mean? To close that sale.
And it's not always about the sale though either, man. It's like, once again, there's some people that never held a snake in their life. I remember one family, we had a great time, man. They hung out for, I want to say, a good 45 minutes to an hour, just BSing and talking and everything. And mom, she didn't want anything to do with snakes. But by the time she left our table, she's like, okay. And my wife, she sat there and she put a ball python in her hand. She's like, oh shit. So it makes it, that's what, to me, it makes it fun. It makes it fun, I want to break that barrier of people thinking that snakes are horrible and they're going to always bite you or something like that. But hey, it's a good possibility. Don't get me wrong, but hey, it's fun. It's fun. I like to break people's fears of something of the mysterious.
And see that's the thing, and other people don't often realize. Like I talked to a lot of the people that came up to my table, and they're like, when we heard Reptile show, they were expecting something completely different. They were, or like an expo, they were expecting like kind of like a show you would see at the zoo, right? When they're doing their shows over a certain animal or certain species at times. They're like, okay, it's going to be an educational type thing. Which there are booths that do that. Yeah, there are booths that do that at shows, but like the general public seems to hear Reptile show, and if they've never been to one before, they're expecting education out of it, not so much a sales show, right?
Yeah,
right.
And that's one part I love about it, man. I love educating the people, the unknown, because who knows? By the time that maybe the next time the show comes back around, that same family's going to come up, and the next thing you know, like, hey man, we're going to take one of your snakes home today. That's cool. That's cool.
So first thing you learned was don't be afraid to let your animals out. Be smart with it, but don't be afraid to let your animals be held.
Just like, for
What else
example,
would you say you learned from this year?
I'm sorry, man. One more time.
What else would you say that you learned from vending this year?
It's a lot of
man,
work.
I've had too many whiskeys for this.
No, not at all, man.
I'm just giving you a hard time, bro. That IG post cracked me up so bad. I was like, oh, he's gonna be real.
Yeah, actually, it's a lot of work, bro. It's a lot of work. I mean, especially working Monday through Friday, and then you get off work on Friday, and you get home. You're like, okay, I got to grab this, and that, and hopefully I don't forget the snakes, because that's, you know, we got to have those. But yeah, it's a lot of work, man. It's like myself with mixing medications for a living and all. There's times to where I'm up on my feet all day, but I get that chance to plop down for a moment. And like at this we went to Pomona this last show, and Saturday was oddly dead, if you will, for Saturday Pomona show. It was just like, even like the noise in the background and all. We're like, what the heck? Is there anybody here? And so it was a slower day. And then Sunday came along, dude, and you could hear that, you know, the background noise and whatnot. We're like, all right, cool. We're gonna have some fun today. But you know, my wife and I, we got down there, got set up and whatnot. We did get some breakfast beforehand, but as time passes really quick. But I'm like, man, I got a fat belly. I need to feel something in it, you know.
I want them street tacos outside.
Hell yeah, man. So we brought some munchies with us, and I opened up a bag of trail mix to start munching. And I sat down, and as soon as I sat down to get my hand in the bag, somebody walks up. Well, I'm not that guy to sit there and talk to you as I'm sitting down. I'm gonna put my bag down. I gotta stand up. Next thing I know, 2 hours has passed, and I'm like, man, I'm still hungry. Oh yeah, shit, I forgot.
Never ate.
So I mean, it's busy. You know that it's so the time goes by quick, but it makes for also a long weekend as well. Just making sure you got all your P's and Q's, your T's crossed and I's dotted, man. That's one thing I've learned, that as long as you get all your shit together before you leave the house, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Did you end up bringing mats for you to stand on, or? Okay, I was gonna say, you working in a pharmacy, I know you have them there.
No, actually, we don't, man. We don't have mats there. I mean, granted, if I was working in an outpatient pharmacy or whatnot, we would. But working in oncology, because I'm pulling on syringes and everything, they don't allow that kind of stuff because it's more for the bacteria to hide and all that. So yeah, there's no mats in the pharmacy.
Like that was the biggest savior for me, man. Like I remember my first show, or my show here, and it was just like, my feet were killing me. And then the first one I vended to actually sell animals, I have the same mentality, man. Like I had a buddy from here in town, he didn't have a booth, and he ended up bringing one of his little like campsite chairs, the little foldable chairs. He's like, here, man, just in case. I was like, pack that up, give it to someone else, bro. Like I can't even have the option of doing that, otherwise I'll do it, man. And I don't want to talk to anyone sitting down. So
yeah, it's still, for me, just who I am, it just feels awkward. You know, I got to be able to move as I'm talking to you and things like that. You know, if I'm just sitting there, next thing you know, I'm like, and then this and that. Yeah, dude, I like to be able to stand up and, you know, get involved.
Absolutely, bro. That's good, man. Like it sounds like you have the right mindset moving forward. You know what you want to do. You took little tips away. My big thing was like munchies, man. Like you said, you had your little munchies, but I was like, okay, this is, especially now that I'm trying to freaking take care of myself a little bit. Like, okay, this is my lunch. This is my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is what I can have for snacks in between.
Yeah, that's
you gotta like figure out times to scarf it down real quick before.
Heck yeah. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spit that cilantro on you. You get that off.
Here, have a mouthful of rice all over you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna love rice by the end of this year. I can already tell. But
good luck with all that, man.
I gotta, man. I gotta. Like, I need to do it for the kids. Like, I need to do it for myself, obviously, but
Yeah, you got to do
I
it for
got to do it
yourself
for the
first before
kids.
anybody
They're
else.
so young, man.
Yeah,
I got to take care of myself. But yeah, it looks like it, or it sounds like you got it working forward. What made you decide to go from just keeping into breeding? Was it just like the interest that you saw with everyone else? Was it okay, well, I don't know that I can buy this, so I'm just gonna make it myself. Like there's numerous steps that everyone yeah.
that's a big one right there, man. Because once I start getting more, what's the word I'm looking for? Introduced to different morphs and all that, I'm like, man, that's badass. But I'm like, I can't spend that kind of money on it, but I can spend that money and a little bit of that money to make this snake. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense at all.
No, for sure, for sure. That's the same mindset that I had to do, man. I've grown this from freaking bananas and lessers and
It's a trip.
like
Dude, I
the
had
basic
no
$300 to $500 snake, and I've grown it to where it is over the last 5 years. So I'm super proud of it. As I'm sure you are too. You're throwing out some crazy stuff already, man. Like,
thank you. Yeah. Well, I bought one. You know, I have reticulated pythons as well, and I invested pretty highly, if you will, in one of my females. Well, in a breeding pair, I invested pretty highly in it. And granted, with the ball pythons, it was, you know, as you said, the 500 here, 300 there, 400 there, and then I went to the 4 digits on one ball python, and I went, well, let's see how this goes. And so this year he produced 3 clutches for me, and that's, you know, the het DGs that I made this year. And he's badass, man. Let me grab him real quick.
It's funny how once you break, that seems to be like the bracket. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's like, I don't know if I want to invest that heavy, and then once they do, it's over.
Yeah,
everyone get that nerves goes away.
Yeah, this guy right here I invested in, man. This is a Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, Desert Ghost, Het 50 Hypo that I got from Miguel at Always Evolving Pythons, man. But yeah, I pimped him out through a few females, that's for sure. But, you know, once I saw him, I was like, it kind of gave me a direction of where I really wanted to go with my projects. For example, I had a clown. This girl right here that's in the logo, this is actually one of my snakes. Nice. That's Lucy, and she's Het 66 clown. So I tried the het to het deal. I got no clowns. So I was like, shit. You know, I was kind of a bummer, man, because I put her, she's a pastel inchy leopard het 66 clown, and I put her to an Orange Dream het 100 clown. And I was like, here we go, man. These are going to be badass babies. I didn't get any clowns. I was like, shit. So, so this kind of pushed me in a direction that with this guy here is where I really wanted to go. I wasn't real familiar with Desert Ghosts or anything like that. But once I got this guy in my home, in my collection in the room, I was like, oh, I definitely want to make Desert Ghosts, especially here in California, man. It's desert. This is where this is my Desert Ghost right here.
It's super pretty, man. Like, I love it. It's something that it's a project that took me forever to get into. Like, I was super timid about it. And I remember, I think it was probably 2 years in, man. So like 19, I started looking at them. And that was like right when the controversy of desert was being talked about when we first came into it. You remember? And I didn't put the two together. Like, I realized they were different morphs, but I was just like, it's pretty, but I'm not convinced yet. Like, I want a dark snake. I want a dark snake. I want that darkness to come through, right?
Oh yeah.
And as the years progressed, I finally started realizing, like, you can't just throw, well, I mean, you can. It makes very pretty snakes. Don't get me wrong. Like, putting a bunch of dark genes together still creates really pretty snakes.
GHI, blackhead, black pastel. Hell yeah.
Yeah. But that contrast, once you can get it to come in right, man, is just, and that does it great. Like, DG looks great in freaking everything.
So. Everything. Yeah. I mean, granted, you know, it's like that's the beautiful part about this, man. It's not like you got your bright colored snakes, you got your dark colored snakes, and just because you can work 2 spectrums of snake, snake keeping and all. I mean, I want to make, like myself, with being a horror fan and the music that I'm into and everything, I want to make really dark snakes. Like one project I have in mind is black pastel with calico. Can it make a black and white snake? I really don't know. I don't know. So I'd like to try. I would like to try. Maybe super pastel with calico on it, or super black pastel with calico on it. Maybe it makes a black and white snake, like the black lip python or whatever, or white lip python. Excuse me.
Yeah, it'd be. I don't know, man, because it's I don't know. You don't know until you do it, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beautiful part about it. You don't, and both sides.
Semantics.
Yeah.
We can guess all day, but until it happens, we'll never know.
Yeah, exactly.
I would think with the super, you might have a possibility of it. With the single, it really depends on the line. I know if you're doing Barnhart, that's going to be like some super deep orange popping through there somewhere. And if you add the calico or sugar into it, that's right where the orange should be expressed. So I don't know. It might look really wicked. I don't know.
It might, yeah. I'm gonna try to find out, man, because I have a pastel calico ghost, and she'll be ready to breed. She's one of my girls that I'm moving into the breeding projects this coming season. So then I'm gonna put a black pastel to her. So fingers crossed, and then down the line, of course, it takes a little bit to get that super black pastel in her, but I bought her for a particular reason, and I definitely bought her for a particular reason. So fingers crossed, we'll see.
What do you think is like for someone that's coming in now? Because you have about 5 years in, give or take. Well, you have more time with keeping, but as far as like looking at breeding and things of that nature, you have about 5 years in. What would you say is the most important aspect that you've learned over these past 5 years with building your collection? It'll be cheap.
I mean, one more time, John.
What do you mean? You need the question again? You want me to re-roll it for you? All right. Over the last 5 years, like if you had someone come up to you and say, Adam, I want to learn how to breed, or I'm thinking about starting a collection, what would you want to pass on to them as far as knowledge, or like to help them out with what you've learned over the last 5 years?
Pick a couple of genetics that you really like and stick with them. And once because it's easy to, you buy a halfling and you got to wait 3 years for 3 to 4 years for your female to grow up. Well, that seems like a long time. I mean, if you want to raise them as hatchlings, I mean, anybody can go out and be like, hey, I'm going to buy a ready to breed. I didn't want to go that route just because, I kind of did. And it was, I'm kind of scatterbrained here. Sorry. But yeah, stick to your genetics of what you really, really like. And don't, kind of put on the blinders, because you can end up investing a lot of money in situations like, next thing you know, you're like, I don't know, I have this, and that, but I don't have that puzzle piece that fits this, and that. If that makes any sense. So kind of stay focused, because the next thing you know, you have maybe 50 ball pythons, but how are you going to feed them? Snake food can be expensive, man. I mean, I know that because I'm now helping out a rat colony. I've worked at pet shops and everything else just to, to help out my hobby that turned into a business. Stay focused for sure on the genetics that you really care for. Because once again, you can go out and buy this snake and buy that snake and buy this snake and that snake. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, now I can't afford to feed them all, man. It can get crazy real quick.
Is that what led you to like kind of working with the local pet shop? Was I need feeders, or what?
I just wanted to learn. I just really wanted to learn, bro. I started volunteering at Reptile Factory, and I was just washing rat tubs in the bathroom 4 hours after work, 3 hours after work. And then I volunteer on Saturdays. And once again, all I was doing was cleaning shop, cleaning rat tubs and things like that. Man, was out on the
that's a long day.
Floor or anything like that for sales or whatnot. But anybody that was there working, I picked their brain I just wanted to learn from people that were really. I mean, yeah, it's a reptile factory, man. There's some badass people that work for that company, dude. I had a really good time doing it. I've learned a whole hell of a lot from them as well. But it was mostly I just wanted to learn. I want to learn, and I want to show people that I'm willing to learn by actually executing and working and busting my ass.
I mean, that's showing it. You were working a full-time job doing that and taking care of your stuff. That's a long day. It makes for a long day, bro.
It is. And then like now I just recently started doing it again. I'm working on a rat colony, and you probably know Todd and Jody. Maybe I don't know if I should say or not, but
Todd and Jody. Unbelievable. They're amazing people. That's what really, like, a lot of my starting stock came from them.
Hey, right on, man. Nice. And they live like literally right down the street from me here. It takes me 5 minutes to get to their house. So Todd made a post on Facebook one time going, "Hey man, I'm looking for a rat keeper and all that." And I'm like, "Well, shit, dude, I've never done it, but I'll try it." And so I did it for a couple months, man. Then I started having some health issue and all that. I wasn't barely even able to walk. My doctor even told me, "Hey, Mr. Webb, you probably shouldn't even walk for exercise or anything like that." Well, the rat colony they have is a pretty decent sized colony. And I clocked it one night, man, 7.5 miles on a Tuesday night cleaning rats. On the feet, 7.5 miles. That is no joke. So I started having some problems with my feet and everything because, once again, doctor told me I shouldn't do so. So I told him, "Hey, man, thank you very much. I'm sorry I can't do this no more." But I just started doing it this week because we figured some stuff out and all. But I just started doing it again this week. And, I just enjoy doing it, man. It's fun, and it does. I ain't gonna lie, it helps me out here at the home too. I mean, they take good care of me. They take damn good care of me. Because I like to think I take damn good care of their animals too.
Yeah, they're good people, man. I've always enjoyed being around them. So you in essence raise your own rats, then, I would say, right?
Kind of. Most of my collection's on frozen thawed. So I do have, I use Cold Blooded Cafe. It's been a little while since I ordered through them. I now order, I just got a shipment from Jeff with El Segundo Pythons. He makes and produces some good rats, healthy animals and stuff. I also get pigs from him for my retics. But
I was going to talk about that. Like that has to be a blessing, man. That's the hardest thing to do. Like, luckily I'm down to one retic, and I can't let her go because she was my first one. But it's like, okay, so all the retired breeders for my rat colonies get fed off to her. So I have a garbage disposal for that. But
oh yeah, that's nice too.
Once she gets to that size, it's like, well, once I have to start giving her pigs because she's that big, I don't know where I'm going to get them yet. I got to figure that out. But
yeah, I got lucky with that one, man. I was just, scrolling through Instagram, and Jeff made a post on, "Hey, I got pigs." I'm like, sweet, man. Let's do this. So
nice. So how big is your collection at?
Well, I've kept my cool with retics, man, because I know how they grow, and I have 8. I have 8 retics. 2 of them are mainlands. Other than that, all of them have some kind of percentages of the smaller localities. I got 2 from Reach Out Reptiles. That's one of my breedings I'm going to do. I've got 1 from Samson Pruitt, and she's a fantastic female. She's 50% Kalatoa Amel. And then I have 2 from Jay from Prehistoric Pets. And then my other ones all come from Reptile Factory with Daniel Solis.
Okay.
And then with ball pythons, 5, 10, 13, 18, 22. Can I math? 27. 32. 32 plus 5 is 37. And then I got my baby. So right now, 37 adults. And then baby-wise, I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and then 7 in the incubator is 25, and then another 6. So yeah, I got a lot. But honestly, in all
I
honesty,
mean, with all you do, it's a lot for sure. But
yeah, it's like I think in some comparison to some, the collection's quite small, if you will. But yeah, I would say about 40 ball pythons, 8 retics, a pair of carpet pythons, a Mexican black king snake, a BCI, a blood python, a rainbow boa.
I didn't know you got that far into it, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I got I kind of adopted a blood python, a BCC, and the rainbow boa from somebody that my wife used to work with. And she started following us on Instagram and knew that we kept snakes and all that. Well, her and her husband, unfortunately, had to get rid of their animals. And they said, you know, Adam, we know that you take good care of your animals and all that. So if you would, and they gave us 3 animals. So now I take care of a blood python, a BCC, and the rainbow boa, which is a mean bitch. Oh, yeah. She's mean.
Yeah. They're definitely one of the funner species to keep with. Like, a lot of people have talked a lot of crap about white lips and their demeanor, man, but my white lip is nicer than any rainbow that I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, it's like I've been around a couple of them because at the reptile factory they come in every once in a while or whatnot. But this one right here, man, it's like I've never seen a snake strike sideways. And I was just outside with her and everything, just hanging out with her. And I took out my phone just to get a couple of pics, just to get that iridescence, you know, the nice purples. And she just swung right at the phone. What the hell? You're not supposed to do that, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I won't call her nasty. I mean, shame on me for doing that. She's just like, hey, I don't know you. I don't know you not well at all. So I mean
that's the way they all are, though, man. Like it's not that they're nasty. It's their demeanor. They're super defensive. They're not the apex predator where they come from. They know that they're prey their entire lives. Like
yeah. And she's cool, man. I take her out and I'll hold her every once in a while. Last time I did, I got hit, so I'm like, yeah, damn it. But I'll use a snake hook with her. I mean, I use a snake hook with any of my animals that, you know, are a little bit on the defensive side. Except for the ball python. I'm like, I'll stop. Just stop. What are you gonna do, punk?
Oh man. Oh, I don't like. I'll hook the retic, but I don't. Anything else that I have, I'm just like, well, no, I take that back. I do hook the white lip to bring it out.
Yeah.
But once it's out,
like a tap, you do like the head tap on them or whatnot, just to
let them
know
it's not slide. I literally take the curve of the hook and I slide it across the tub so that it gets the vibrations and it knows it's coming. And then I slide it under its head and lift its head up. I just let it come up the hook onto my hand.
Oh, right on. I like that, man. That's good. That's good. Right on. Yeah, it's like with the retics, of course. I tap them. It's not food time right now.
Yep, I know that one. I opened my girls to eat this past weekend, and she was halfway out before I had the rodent in my hand, and I was like, that could have ended up bad.
Heck yeah! How if you don't mind me asking, man, about what size is your?
She's about 9-ish feet right now. So
yeah, it's a good size animal for sure.
Yeah, especially when it's coming at your back.
Dude, the first retic I bought, his name's Magnus. I love him to death. He's a little strange, but I love him to death. He's the weirdest retic that I have in here. He likes to move. He's kind of nonstop, man. I've tried putting paper bags over his window. I've lowered his temperature. I mean, he's just on it. So he pissed this house, so I went to take him out to clean him, tapped him, got him out. He's wrapped up around my right arm, just chilling or whatever. And I walked out of the snake room to the living room to talk to my wife, and I was just talking trash. So I'm like, man, I'm going to rename this guy to Stanks because he's always stinking, man. He's always pissing, pooing, whatever. So as I said that, I'm looking at him, and it was like he heard me and took offense to it. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to bite
this,
dude. And I was like, I almost went in to like interfere with the situation because it was like, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. And man, he got me right on the forearm. Just, you taste good. I ended up chewing him off, man, biting his tail to get him off or whatever. I'm like, you're a dick. But I love him to death.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the way I had the girl that I just got rid of, she always did that, man. Like you couldn't touch her without her musking everywhere. Like it was just
Oh,
that was
and
her
see, I
thing
don't.
with me. I don't know if she just didn't like my freaking musk or what was going on, but every time I touched her, man, it was just everywhere.
See, you were just too manly for her, John. She's like, check this out.
She's like, it's breeding time. I don't know. It was bad, bro. It was bad.
And sometimes I'd rather take a bite. I mean, for the bites that I have taken,
Yeah,
I'd rather
right?
take a bite than get pissed on. It's disgusting, or musked on anyway.
That I would rather, like, in all honesty, as bad as it sounds, I'm with you. I would rather take the bite than get musked on, because you just sit there and even after you shower yourself, you're just like, the smell's still there. Like it stays in your nostrils even after you shower. Even if you get it off your body, it is stuck in there.
Like, I think I still got something under my fingernail or something. Let me get that.
Oh no.
It's nasty, dude. It's nasty.
So bad. So bad. No. And then they're big old poops, man. Like it's an all-day event sometimes to clean. But
I'll tell you what, man, I share my bedroom with, it's like here, I got this one room in my bedroom where I live is an actual add-on. And the landlord and all that, man, he's cool for letting me let this situation happen. But you wake up at 2:00 in the morning and you're like, who in the hell opened up the can of tuna? Woo! Stunks, dude. I've been up in my chones, man, cleaning fucking retic at 2:00 in the morning. Go, I cannot sleep until I get this done. Otherwise, it's going to eat in my brain, of course, and my nostrils. I ain't going to be able to sleep.
Yep. That's the same thing with a Great Dane, man. Try training a Great Dane. That is like, so they have wicked issues with their gut in the first place. So you have to be very careful about how you feed them.
What, Great Danes?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And I didn't know that at first. So I did the 50-50 split and I did all that, but her stomach did not agree with that first food I put her on. And the whole house, bro, like her stomach would get upset and she would let one rip, or she wasn't completely house trained when I first got her. And it was just like, it smelled like someone threw a rotten fish.
Yeah, that's
in
bad.
the house. Like it was almost like someone was trying to play a prank on me and threw like a fish in the HVAC system or in a vent somewhere. It was just letting it shoot it's horrible, dude. Yeah, horrible.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Great Danes. Right on. I don't have one, so but yeah, I didn't know that about Great Danes.
Their gut health is like super important, man, and they're like, it turns bad really fast, really. Like just like you said, man, like we would straight be dead asleep, and like I don't sleep a lot in the first place. Like 6 hours is a good night for me, you know what I mean? And I'd be like barely hitting REM 3 hours into laying down, and it pulled me right out. I'm like, what the is that? Like are you serious right now?
It's like, how did you get it so high up the wall? How did you do that? Yeah. Honestly, I like
retics, man. Like they spray. They want to paint. They don't want to just poop in one place. They want to paint the entire enclosure.
Oh hell yeah, dude! My boy Magnus, who likes to chew on me sometimes. I learned that I cannot feed him pigs. It does not treat him right whatsoever. I did it once. I thought, well, maybe I didn't thaw out the pig right because I was brand new to it and everything. Maybe I didn't thaw it out right. Maybe I left it out too long, whatever. But I thought, well, oh shoot, that was my bad. I'm sorry. That was my bad, Magnus. Well, so I tried a second time. Oh, it wasn't my bad, man. It's just the pigs do not agree with him at all. It's horrid. It's like, why? Why do I do this? But so I've learned. So I only feed him like rats nowadays, man, because the pigs, he can't stomach them. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Makes sense, man. And you don't, like, honestly, I feel like a lot of people try to grow their males up bigger than they really need to push them anyways. There's something with that fad, and I don't know what it is about getting your retics as big as possible when they're not meant to be that way. I don't know, man. Like, I've seen yours. Like one of my favorite things, and I should have pulled up your Instagram for this. I might still do it actually while we're talking about this.
Right on, right on.
One of my favorite things about your is the videos and the pictures you put of the retics when they're outside, and like you could tell they're healthy and they're not overfed and they're getting exercise and they're not just sitting in an enclosure all freaking day, because why would you want to keep your snakes in an enclosure all freaking day in the first place?
Yeah, especially, yeah, and they like to move. They really like to move, man. They're inquisitive creatures. They're like, hey, what's over here? What's over there? I mean, you take your retic out, and they're all. I mean, granted, there's times where I hang out with them, and they'll like, what's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? What's this? And then eventually they'll get comfortable and they'll pass out on me, and they'll just chill. Like I'm hanging out on the couch or whatever. Next thing you know, there's a snake down my leg, and its head's on my foot, and the rest of his body's up here or whatever, and they'll eventually chill. But they like to move around. Nacho. Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like you could clearly see as it's going through, like it has that little dip from the head into the body. Like you could tell from the structure of the body itself, it actually gets out and it's getting to move around. It's getting exercise. It's not like this overly fat roll where it looks like you just like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, man.
I appreciate that, man. I mean,
pretty.
I lost my jawline years ago, bro. I'm gonna keep my snake's jawline if I can, at least.
That's really pretty. I like that.
Yeah, I'm happy with those pickups right there, man. That was from Chandler Hatfield. Black pastel. That's the female. That's a black pastel het hypo 100, and then the also het 66 puzzle, and then her brother I bought as well. He's a black pastel hypo het 66 puzzle. I bought him for the puzzle as well. There, yeah, that dude right there.
That's gorgeous, man.
Thank you. Yeah, as soon as I found them on Morph Market, I'm like, no way. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. But I had a little bit of change from Anaheim. So my wife and we did the Anaheim show as well, and that's BJ, man. Will. That's Will. He's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. Him and his daughter, they bought a couple of snakes. Him and we talked quite a bit on the phone. He's good people.
You can keep talking, bro. We're gonna skip over that.
Well, I'm gonna yell at my wife real quick. Give me just a second. Hey, babe! Please?
Whiskey needed. Refill.
Yeah, that's my girl right there, man. Hell yeah. I'll tell you what, John, it helps so much having somebody at a booth with you for the weekend, or not only that, but that supports you 100% of the time of this lifestyle. It's a busy lifestyle, and that's one reason why I like it as well. It's busy, keeps me on my toes, man. That's one thing my brain can move at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and that's one thing that kind of kept me thriving to breed and keep snakes, man, because it kept me. It was able to keep me focused on something instead of maybe possibly a little bit of a nugget of negativity getting in my brain, and I just roll with it and turn it into something that's not even fucking there. So the snakes help my brain out quite a bit.
100%, bro. That's honestly where it all started. Well, not where it all started from for me, but like that's my calming, that's my therapy. That's been everything for me since getting out of the Army, and like having to find, not to go into a huge rant on it, but like having to effectively find my own therapy because they don't give a crap, and they didn't do anything. Dude, I bounced through, I think it was 6 therapists in 2 years.
Damn, man.
Maybe
Army,
3. Maybe 3 years.
Fuck it off for you.
I don't even have one anymore. They gave up.
Yeah.
Like I told them the last one stopped seeing me because they left that practice. Okay, I need you to set me up with someone new. I don't have one. And they let it slide under.
Sorry, brother, you're breaking up a little bit. John, I'm not sure if I lost you or if you lost me, sir. Maybe I shouldn't have had that second whiskey.
Yeah, try to get back in. So those that are here, if you're still here, hey, thanks for hanging around. My internet literally just took a complete crap because of a storm above us. So how you doing?
Hello? Ta-da!
And I guess that's how it goes. How it freaking goes. Can't believe that happened. This is gonna be the first time that I'm gonna have to edit a video.
Oh, snap. Editing videos, dude. It's like I did YouTube for a little bit, mostly for like my customers that bought snakes from me. I wanted to be able to, for them to, instead of having like that piece of paper, you know, your care sheet or whatnot, I thought, well, fuck it,
Right.
dude, I'll make a few videos or whatever. And then I kind of started continuing on a little bit. But man, YouTube's time consuming. It is time consuming for like editing and things like that.
Especially if you're freaking editing vlogs and stuff. And like I came back to that, man. I'm only doing one every 2 weeks right now. Like eventually I'm gonna push one every week. It was like I do one vlog because it doesn't take that much because I have the intro and the outro already preset. It's just
Yeah.
sitting down
Right
and
on.
doing the actual content, right? But the lives, I've never had to edit a live except for no, I take that back. So Brendolyn from Texas Spell Exotics. She was super nervous and she had never done a live before. So I pre-recorded the whole thing. And
Oh, all right.
we went like I think like 2.5 hours, dude. And I had to sit there and like stamp through 2.5 hours of us working through all that. And it's just like, holy, I never want to do that again. Like
Yeah, I
the
don't
people
blame
like Chris Eaton and stuff that like sit down and actually dissect a whole podcast, props to them. I don't have the patience for that. Like I just
exactly. I get
don't.
frustrated by the end of the time. I mean, shit, dude, some of the videos I made, I mean, yeah, the longest maybe a half hour because I can ramble on about what I'm trying to get my point across. And I'm like, why, dude? Just shut up, Adam. Just shut up. The more you shut up, the easier it is to edit, man.
Dude, yeah, and I hate my own voice. Like if you haven't noticed, I no longer wear headphones because I could hear my voice the entire time I was talking. I was like,
Yeah,
dude, your voice is fucking annoying. Why is anyone else listening to you?
I couldn't do it. Oh, hey, I'll tell you what, man. I was bullshitting with my wife earlier today. I'm like, hey, the two deepest voices in the industry are getting together tonight. Yeah, just bullshitting, of course. You know, it's all fun.
Dude, so it should be like a late night radio special. Just run through all night.
Right on. I've had a couple of people going, hey, man, do you do radio? You should. I'm like, no, but okay, hook me up. How do you do it?
I had a friend in the industry for a long time, actually. Like she was she went from part of the late night show or like midday shows, which are usually where you start off. Like if you can hold your own, you get the late night, and then the spot you want, as weird as it sounds, is like the early morning slot. Because that's where you get paid the most because everyone's going to work and they're listening to radio. So that's the slot you're shooting for, right?
Yeah,
And so she would do that slot, and then she would get time to like relax. And any events that the radio station was putting on, she would be at the late night events and get to see all the concerts and stuff like that. So
that's good time right there. Right on. Free shows. Thank you very much. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It's one of the things I should have looked into at some point, but I just never did, man. Like I think it'd be really cool. I don't know that I have the talent or like the political correctness to make it on radio.
That's
My opinions would definitely come out, you know.
Good fucking morning, everybody. Welcome to 99.1.
Right. Oh man. But I forgot what we were talking about before we freaking crashed, bro.
Yeah, I can't recall myself.
Oh, we were talking about
a bad thing.
feeding. We were talking about feeding and stuff, but and like the weight of retics and how yours actually look good versus being obese, like you see across the industry. And I'm not hitting on just retic people. Like retic people do it, burn people do it. Like there's a freaking persona that I want the biggest and the baddest when these animals weren't made to reach. Well, obviously they will reach that size if you force them, but that's over like years and years, and
Yeah.
everyone's trying to force that size right away, and it's just horrible for the animals.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's like I saw somebody threw out a post not too long ago, man, and I, excuse me, I think it was a repeat post or something like that, and it was somebody dissecting was it a Burmese? I think it was a Burmese. They were dissecting the Burmese that passed away of natural causes, but more than likely it passed away of obesity, like
obesity, yeah,
even humans can do. But as they dissected, they showed all the fat deposits on it and all that kind of stuff, man. I'm like, that's horrible, man. Because there's some keepers out there, and I'm not, once again, I'm not talking shit, but there's some keepers out there that may just feed their animal, never take them out, and never give them exercise, just feed their animal. And yeah, I mean, if you put me on a couch all day long and just feed me, I'm gonna be
proof
big
of it, bro.
Yeah,
I'm proof of it. That's why I had to start taking care of myself. I was like, oh, I'm watching the kids, and I'm being a lazy shit in the recliner, watching my kids play around all day and not getting on the floor with them and playing with them and doing stuff. And then I tried to do it, and I was like, holy crap, my back hurts. Holy crap, I'm having health issues now.
Yeah, dude.
Holy crap, I've gained 30 pounds since I got out of the military.
And see, my entire life, man, I've been on the heavier side, So I'm kind of used to having that tank. I always blamed it on my grandma. She's like, "You sure you?" I'm like, "Grandma, I've had 2 plates of food." "No, you need to have a third." "No, I don't." But so animals, same way. We can do that to them. I mean, granted, the mentality is think of it that way. Oh, if they're running around or whatever, they're hungry. Not necessarily. If they're running around, maybe they want to get the hell out of where they're living for a little while at least.
I mean, you gotta think all these animals in the wild, like even ball pythons, they move around. They don't just sit in the one burrow. They move around that entire community of burrows. The freaking retics are moving from spot to spot. They're climbing trees in search of their next meal.
Yeah,
like everything moves around. They need the movement and the exercise, and if you just keep them in their enclosure, which, let's be honest, 99.99% of enclosures are simply not big enough for the animals. Like, even though we do the tub systems, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I won't shit on a tub system, right? Like that, it's effective for what we use it for. But if you're not taking the animals out and letting them have time, I don't think that you deserve the animals in the first place. I'm just going to say it. Don't be like that. No, I don't get to throw that out there and then you take the way out of it.
No, I get you. It's true. I mean, shit, man. It's like I don't want to. Like, pardon me. I know that even me sitting in the house all the time, I go fucking stir crazy. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, there's some. Hey, don't get me wrong. There's some people that just like chilling at home. They don't like to ever go anywhere. Hey, man, right on. Good for you. That's what you want. That's what you want. But myself, I can go stir crazy. Next thing you know, I'm driving myself nuts. What? Yeah, so got to get out.
Picking fights. Like, if I stay in the house too long, I'll pick a fight with my wife out of boredom.
Yeah.
And it's a bad thing.
Yeah. That is a bad thing.
Like, I can't be in the house. I'm not meant to be contained within 4 walls.
Anything that's alive and able to move besides a fucking plant should be able to get out and get under the sun all the time.
100% agree, man. Where do you at right now as far as your production?
5 clutches. I was shooting for 6, but the female that I thought may go, she didn't go this year. So I'm hoping that she'll be my first one to produce some babies next year and all. But just 5 clutches, man. The first year we did 3. Last year we did 5. This year I was shooting for 6, but only got 5 once again. But John, I tell you what, man, since we've got a cycle going on in the room here and all, it's almost year round. Because I have one last clutch, our clutch 5 to hatch, and it's due in, wife and I were just talking about this earlier today, I think 2 weeks. So here we are, going to be our last clutch for 2022 is going to be in September. So 3 months left after that of the year. And here we are again, and I'm not needing to, but wanting to pair some animals back up, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, just 5 clutches, bro, and here we are almost on a year-round situation.
But even with that, with the size of your collection right now, 5 clutches in essence doubles your animals every year.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Oh, hell yeah. And myself, I try to, my wife keeps me in check. I can keep them all. I really can keep them all, man. I'm like, that was badass looking. But she's like, well, what's different? I'm like, well, that's got this part and this is that situation. And, you know, you can pick out any animal. Like, I'm keeping them all because I think they're all beautiful. But I can't. I just can't do it, man. It just, and like this year, man, 1 clutch, I was really hoping for females. And 6 out of 8 eggs were all male. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna cut them off, man. I'm gonna cut them off.
Bro. No, you want to hear some shit odds on sex? My first year, I hatched out 40 babies. 40 babies. 40.
38 were males?
Damn near.
No shit, dude.
I hatched out 6 females my first year out of 40 babies.
I would have quit. No. Damn. That's a kick in the nuts.
But I'll say this: all 6 females stayed back, and I got a lot of sales, and I got my experience in how to sell and how to freaking ship and how to do all that good stuff because I had to move 34 babies.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. It's a high when somebody wants your animal. They're like, man, because you bust your ass day in and day out. A lot of people don't see that behind the scenes stuff. It's where it's not just, yeah, I got a bunch of snakes and they just, no, it's work every single day. You know, like myself, where I go to work Monday through Friday, I come home. The first place I come to, besides hitting the pisser real quick, is to my snake room. You know, and I'm in here for a couple hours every day, or I'm out in the backyard with them every day, you know, somehow, some way. And then the nights that I do the rats, it still has something to do with the snakes. That's a 12-hour day for me. It's a lot of fucking work. So when somebody buys a snake from me, like, you don't even know, and I appreciate you, man. Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And it's funny, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I've talked a lot of monetary over the past episodes, and it's not even that, man. Like, it's more you get to see your passion put into someone else is what excites me. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
Like,
yes.
You get that. You get to see their excitement come in. You get the ease on your time, which I can't even tell you how nice that is. But like I got a lot that I'm consistently doing, man, and you as well with everything that you do. Like, you would be surprised, and a lot of people would think it fairly insignificant. You know what I mean? The time that just one animal taken out of your collection and given to someone else or sold to someone else or whatever gives you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, okay, I got that 7 minutes of my life back every day. What am I going to fill it with now? And I'll find something to fill it with. Don't get me wrong. But
yeah, definitely, man. It's like, you know, for like myself, you know, once again, working Monday through Friday, having a 40-hour job, you know, 40 hours a week and whatnot. I applied, or not applied, but I asked, you know, I requested to be able to leave an hour and a half early from my job so I can deliver a snake that's going to be put in the mail on Tuesday for it to show up at my client's or customer's house on Wednesday. You know, so you're not only so I can get it to FedEx on time. So it's not just that it takes my personal time, but it's taking time away from my 40-hour work week job as well. I mean, granted, it's not anybody's fault. It's just because I have to drop off that snake F5. That's it.
Right. No, 100%. Where do you, so you said you have what, 22, 24 years in pharmaceutical?
How old am I? 47. I started at 21, man. 26 years.
26 years.
26 years.
So your time, you're getting there. Your time's almost there where you get to kind of step back from that a little bit, right? No,
No.
you're gonna do it till you can't stand anymore.
Yeah, I mean, granted, man, you know, you got to pay the bills and everything, and
Right.
like with pharmacy, pharmacy tech, the company I work for now is able for me to live on my own. If I were to work, let's put it this way, for pharmacy technicians, if I were to work with anywhere else for a different company, I wouldn't be able to live on my own. I'd be living with my mom. That's just unfortunate how
Dang.
pharmacy techs get paid nowadays, man. I mean, well, my entire career, I've always had a job, but I always haven't made good money. You know, I was married for 16 years. My ex-wife was the breadwinner and all that. But once I got hired on for the company I work for now, I was able to, like, if shit did go bad, which it did, if shit went bad, I'd be able to finally, you know, I'd be able to pay my own bills. But yeah, pharmacy techs, bro, we don't. Yeah, it's a squirt of piss. It's a squirt of piss. But you know, I'm not complaining. It's just, you know, I've always had a job. I never had to worry about if I'm going to be able to go to work or not or anything like that.
Right.
But the money is not always well.
So
It's not
where,
livable.
with your job being what it is, where do you see yourself going as far as the hobby or within reptiles? How big would you want to take it? Like what are your aspirations with it? Is it to potentially be full time and just animals, or is it to forever be like a hobby?
My goal with it, for one, is for the animals to pay for themselves, if you will, to where I don't have to worry about where am I going to get my snake food or anything like, or money for the
Right.
food and everything. They're going to take care of themselves. But other than that, man, once that I do retire from pharmacy, I definitely will. Is that it gives something for myself and my wife and I to travel across the country and meet people in the industry. I would love to go to Tinley one day to vend a show and things like that. So that's kind of my goal, is to eventually travel across the United States with a
Okay.
trailer full of snakes, and you know, chasing behind me, and we're gonna go have some fun and meet some people, man. I mean, that's my goal anyway. I wouldn't mind like getting a trike and getting a small trailer or whatever, and traveling across. You know, it'd be a good time. It'd be a
You
good
say
time.
that right now. Wait till you hit those thunderstorms. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
that would
tell
suck.
you, like, I think you know my history. Some of the people watching right now might know my history. Like I had a couple years within the MC lifestyle, and you ride in all weather. You ride year round. Like you don't take time off because of weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thunderstorms are brutal. Snow is really brutal. I'll just
Hell
say
yeah,
that.
it is. Hell yeah,
Like
it is.
there's times where you're holding onto the throttle with one hand and your other hand's holding onto the engine, and you're throwing on your
Damn.
cruise control if you have it, just to warm up your other hand. But
Well, I appreciate it. Now I'm gonna get a truck, man. I ain't gonna deal with that shit.
yeah.
Already learned. Already learned.
Well, it's a mentality too, though, man. Like you're like, I can't be looked at as a wuss. I'm gonna ride no matter what. And like there's the people that would take like trucks or vehicles throughout winter, but you're just you always want to be on the bike, which I understand. I still have that craving, man. Like I stepped away from that life um, for my family, and I had to sell my bike because it called to me. You know what I mean? Like that lifestyle calls to me. Being on the bike all the time calls to me, and it's a hard life to live. And then it made my wife worry because I was of that mindset, like I still have to ride, like even after I got out, like I was in a club, and it's not the friendliest. It's a very aggressive ride,
Oh, I get it, man.
if
It's
I
like
could say. Yeah.
the town I grew up in, man, is notorious for having a biker gang and all that. And I used to hang out at the bar that this biker gang would go to and all that. That was their bar, if you will. And I've seen it and everything. It wasn't one of my flavors that I'd like to be a part of and everything. But you know, like with street bikes or Harleys or whatnot, man. I never honestly never been on one. My thing was dirt bikes, and I had to put that down because I broke myself real easy and a whole hell of a lot. You know, it's like I busted my shoulder, I'm supposed to have surgery on my knee, but I already had surgery on another knee. So I'm like, I'm not going to have surgery on that knee. Fuck yourself. I busted my back, dude. I fractured 5 vertebrae in my spine. So it was just like, 2 wheels, we don't get along at all. So that's why I said a trike. I'll take 3 at least.
Hey, I've still seen people do some dumb stuff on a trike, man. It's
I bet.
Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, definitely. Just because you have 3 wheels doesn't mean you can take the turn at 50 miles an hour, right?
Oh man. Yeah. So aspirations of doing this full time, that's commendable. What would you say that you see as far as being able to do it full time? Because that looks different for everyone, right? That's one of the things I talked about last week.
Well,
On the
honestly,
episode,
John,
is like everyone's full time is different. So
my full time is after I retire from pharmacy. Hands down, man. Hands down. I mean, this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, man. It's like, there's times where I come, and I'll be transparent. There's times I'm come on, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to clean 4 retic cages. I'm tired. I'm freaking tired, But of course, you put on your big boy pants and you get the shit taken care of or whatnot. But there's days where it's just like, damn, man. And there's times where when you're up on your things, or up on your upkeep, your maintenance and everything, where you're spot cleaning, you don't have to worry about a spot cleaning, but you're still opening every tub to do a spot cleaning, but you don't have to. There's times where you don't have anybody in shed and you're like, thank you very much. You come home, everything. Wait. It doesn't smell like piss, man. Right on. It's a lot of work. And maybe there's somebody, maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know, man, but I feel as if I bust my ass at some days. And there's other days I come home, like I said, it doesn't smell like piss. Right on. You can kind of just chill, But yeah, that's
cycles, man. That's everything. It's cycles.
I wouldn't do it until I was able to retire, like a full-time type of gig. Not until I retire. There's no way. There's no fucking way.
But what do you think? So what I was trying to get at that is like, how many clutches do you see yourself having to do in order to go full-time? Or like, if you're willing to divulge, what do you think that monetary point would be for you to be able to do it full-time?
Honestly, I have no clue. No idea, man. I've never sat down to figure out those numbers or anything like that. I've heard a lot of people talk of how they did it. One of my mentors from a distance, and I think you said the same thing, is Garrett Hartle, because he's straight up about like his early videos. When I first got involved, his videos were fantastic, man. And it wasn't just necessarily about retics; it was about the business and what it took to thrive or whatnot to go to full time. But honestly, man, I have no idea what it would take, because I like to be able to live to where I'm like, I'm going to buy those new pair of shoes. And I don't want to blink an eye over it. You know what I mean? I have that kind of, I'm not rich or anything, but I like to be able to like, hey, I want that. I'm going to buy it type of lifestyle.
You're surviving in California. You're doing better than 90% of
the
country.
It's bad, man. It is bad. Like my wife, even like going to the grocery store, she's like, Adam, what used to cost $150 for groceries now costs $300 for groceries. And it's just, a lot of times it's just her and I. And that's nuts, man. That's nuts. But yeah, brother, sorry I don't have a definitive answer for you.
Oh, you're good. You're good. No, I completely understand it. You don't have to apologize for that, man. Like, I've sat down and I've done it, like you said. And the only reason I'm able, like I said it last week, the only reason I'm able to say that I'm full-time in this is because I have my disability from the military and my wife does. So all our bills are paid that way. So this is literally just icing on the cake. You know what I mean?
Right on, man.
But, it's one of those things that like every guest that I talk to, I like to put it in their head so that they're at least thinking about it, even if they don't have a answer at that time. Because if that's an aspiration, you need to start planning for said aspiration. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I'm 47 now, so retirement, man, that's quite a bit of ways. Unless, of course, that I actually, as you just said, sit down and figure it out. And maybe I should.
I'm not going to be the person to say that you need to do that.
So,
you know what I mean? Like, everyone has their own path,
26 years, man.
I'm just saying. You know,
I appreciate that.
You need to enjoy. You need to enjoy your life. Being your own boss is the best way to do it.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, man.
So if you had to take, obviously you've jumped into that DG project, but if you had to take your favorites right now, what would you say some of your favorite genetics are, and why are those genetics what stand out to you?
GHI, gotta have it. I mean,
My
gotta have
man,
it.
my man, GHI
They're
everything.
oh, it doesn't have GHI in it? Get it in there.
Oh,
GHI hands down, man. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful. Well,
I freaking love it, man. Like there's just the
this my
pattern.
I made this guy, man. This is Private Neville. He's just a single G. Where's the camera? Single GHI. No other genetics, but he came from the first clutch I ever produced. And his name's Private Neville because the day that my son left for boot camp, this guy hatched out, and then Neville is 11 backwards, and there was 11 eggs in the clutch. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, this is my GHI, man. You gotta have it.
Heck yeah. What stands out for GHI for you?
I'm sorry.
What makes GHI, like obviously we all have our own ideas on it and what we like about it. What makes GHI stand out for you? Like what makes that a gene that you have to work with?
Dark. I like the dark on it. I like the dorsal pattern of, you can get like the bicycle chain links in the dorsal pattern. So that's the two aspects mostly is the darkness and the dorsal pattern on them. But some of them, man, they hieroglyphic, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Some of them kind of look hieroglyphic, which is cool. Black pastel, it's another dark genetic and all. I dig that one. So the incomplete dominance, black pastel, GHI, hands down. Then the recessives, DG, desert ghosts, and hypo. I really like hypo. That's cool. The clowns, I like clowns, but my luck with clowns so far can kiss my ass. So
it's just 1 year, bro. Don't give up on it that quick.
You know, and the reason why I bought I have a female blade clown, and she is the pickiest girl, man. She's probably 4.5 years old and still just broke that 1,000-gram wall. Yeah. And I've tried everything. I've moved her, tried live, frozen thawed, mice, rats, this, that, everything. And she's still just like.
Have you tried the vanilla extract?
No.
Go get some pure vanilla extract. Like not like the baking low alcohol content vanilla extract, but pure vanilla extract. And it has a little bit higher of an alcohol content, which is weird because like one of the things you're taught is a snake should release, right? When you pour alcohol into their mouth, or like Listerine or something like that, because
put some alcohol in your hands.
There's something about the, I don't know if it's the smell or what it is about pure vanilla extract. You put a little dab of that on the nape of the neck and then feed it.
I will definitely try that, sir.
It's good for starting. I don't know if it'll work on a 1,000-gram girl, but I know it's good for starting hatchlings.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have to give that a try then, because I got two females that just the only thing they eat is live, which is fine. But there's even times like last night or Thursday night, I brought home some live after taking care of the rats and everything, and they still refused. I'm just like, what the hell? Granted, I'll take that back. Katana, who's my clown girl, the blade clown, she ate a frozen thawed a few days before, so maybe that's why she did turn away. But, you know, I'm like, you can definitely eat some more food. So here's another live. But yeah, her and my other live picky eater, they're like, but I'll definitely give that a try, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I hope it helps. Another thing is just like, as bad as it sounds, stressing them out. Like, put them in a car ride.
Really?
You live in freaking Southern California, man. Go run the hills. Go down a bumpy dirt road with her in a sack in the passenger seat or in your wife's lap in a sack, and then pull back in, give her like an hour or so to calm down, and throw some food in there.
All right, I'll give that a try too. I haven't heard these. What's the tips, if you will? I've never heard them.
And it's weird. Like every female, everyone says that they have that female that hits the 1,000-gram wall too. There's all kinds of ways that people have gotten past it, especially if they've been breeding for a long time. But I don't know. I've been lucky, knock on wood, like all the wood in here. I haven't had that happen to a female yet. Hope I never do, but it's inevitable with what I'm trying to do in my life. So I'm sure it will happen. But yeah, man.
DG for like recessive, DG hypo, man. That hypo, I love that shit. And the DG and hypo, as we know, we've seen it together.
Pretty, man.
Fantastic. And that's the crazy thing, man. Everything's double recessive, triple recessive, quad recessive nowadays. I'm like, dude, you slow down, motherfuckers. Shit.
You got to play.
Yeah. Can't hate the game, man. Hate the fight.
Yeah, man. That's freaking. I like those. I think you're gonna be seeing us talking a lot more with some of the stuff that you were saying. Between GHI, Desert Ghost, Black Pastel, that's a lot of what you know what I have a problem with, and I've noticed this is like I buy everything, like I get fixated on a genetic and I overbuy it. I don't think about how I want to work it. I'll overbuy that. So like I'll buy for instance, because I'm really not worried about it. I'm starting my triples this year, right? And I bought I started buying my Black Pastel stuff to work into that triple and to work into like my clown projects and stuff like that. And I realized I ended up going from one Black Pastel to like 7 different animals with Black Pastel in it within the same year, because I was like, oh, I like Black Pastel. I need that in my project. And I just overbought it. And now I'm sitting there like, I'm going to have a bunch of super Black Pastel stuff that I got to worry about now. And it's going to take away from the contrast. So now I got to think about it and how I'm going to work it out or sell some of those. And I'm going to hold on to it for right now. But you know what I mean? Like play the odds, get the babies that I need. But it's one of the things you got to think about, especially with the incomplete dominance, man. Like I get fixated on a certain incomplete dominant and all over by that.
Yeah, and see, I've kind of taken some points from Aussie Boyd's to where once you get what you're looking for, turn around and get rid of what you had. You know, like, okay, I wanted this. Well, I got this now, so I'm going to get rid of this and that because that helped me get where this snake here, you know. If that makes any sense. I mean, shit, dude, because once again, it's expensive feeding these guys week in and week out, you know. Some of your adults, maybe you feed every other week or whatnot, but the majority of the time, you're usually feeding every week, you know.
Especially come freaking breeding time. That's one of the things, too, is like a lot of people, everyone does feeding different. So what's your method of feeding?
Very random. Very random. So there's times where it's once a week for a few weeks in a row. There's other times where I'll skip every other, you know, and then it's every week, then it's every other week. There's times I've gone to where it's every 3 weeks, except for depending on the age of the animal and what they're looking like. You know, there's some animals that look, oh yeah, you're good. You can go another week without some food or whatnot. Will they eat? Yeah, of course. Opportunistic feeders, of course. But looking at them and maybe they're losing their jawline a little bit or something like that. So they can afford to get away with not eating for it. But yeah, I feed very randomly, man. And like last night, I fed the collection, and I think it's been 2.5 weeks since I fed the entire collection, all the ball pythons, the adults anyways. And it was awesome to see because they were ravenous. Like one of my boys, man, he came out, and by the time I was able to pinch up the rat and get it ready for him, I opened up the tub, and he's like hanging on to his tub with his tail, like, "Where's my food, sucker?" I mean, so that's fun to see as well. I mean, it's not that I felt bad that I haven't fed him for 2.5 weeks, but it's good to do. It brings up their appetite. Like, hey, man, I'm not used to feeding. Oh, it's Sunday, 5 o'clock. It's time to feed. No, I like to feed randomly for sure.
Well, that's one of the things that I've talked about in the past too, man. Is like I give all my females, and people looked at me weird for this, but like leading into breeding my females, I give them a complete month off.
All right.
They don't feed, so I give them a fast right before, and people have looked at me like I'm weird because they're like, well, you want your girls to have a certain fat percentage, right? And
Yeah.
you want them to have that ability. Well, it starts in my head, and my science behind it is the rain brings the food, starts the breeding, all of that. So before that, they're in the dry season, they're fasting, they're not getting a lot of food. So I'm still feeding them, don't get me wrong, but that month before, they're in good shape. Like none of my girls are skinny. And then I give them that 4 weeks off, and then I start providing them regular food again weekly, and it entices them to start building. It entices them to start pairing, to begin that breeding cycle, at least in my mind. And it seems to have worked extremely well. I haven't had issues with slugs. I haven't had issues with like dead eggs or anything like that.
Yeah, right on. Everybody's room's different, man. And that's the cool part, is that with these animals, everybody's room's different. We all kind of come to the same results. You know, and granted, some people want better results than others. Sometimes we have shit luck, if you will. I get that. But other than that, man, that's one thing that's cool.
Granted, I am male heavy. So, no, I'm just playing. It hasn't been that bad this year. So my second year, it's been about 50-50. So I think that it's making up for last year. But
right on.
I couldn't believe that, man. I was so...
What did you say? 36 out of 40 or something like that?
34 males out of 40.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. That's insane. I like to have a good mix. I mean, but then again, I'm kind of glad. Well, I shouldn't say I'm glad that I got more males, or male heavy, because the more females I have, the more animals I'm keeping. But I had a goal this year, especially with coming from my boy Drago, the Desert Ghost. I wanted some females to raise up the next 3 or 4 years and be like, "You ready for this, girls? Let's do this." You know, but yeah, dude, I didn't have that luck. Did not have that, because there was some really nice males that came out of that clutch, and I'm like, that's the combo I wanted, man, but it's the wrong sex. Shit. But it happens. It happens. So I have one more clutch of the DGs, because I bred him to 3 different females, and the last clutch is to my girl Wednesday, who's a banana. And so banana to OD, YB, DG, hit 50 hypo. I got 2 more weeks for that one. I'm like, please, give me some females. Please.
It'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one for sure. For sure.
Where do you find yourself having not necessarily the hardest time within it, but like, what's one of the things that you found yourself struggling with throughout all of the hobby? And I say that not as a negative thing, but I say it as a learning experience for whoever's listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Honestly, man, it's seeing the negativity within the community. You know, and granted, you don't see that in person. You go to a show, you and I bullshitting tonight and everything. There's no negativity here, none. You go to a show, there's no negativity. Is there some bullshit talk here and there? Like, oh, this so and so, yeah, it happens. But you know, okay, cool. Hey, that's your opinion. But the social media bullshit that's the hard one for me to deal with. And I fell into it a few times when I first got involved. I'm going, oh yeah, bark, 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 bark. But it doesn't get you anywhere, man. It just gets you pissed off for no fucking reason whatsoever. Right. And you're like, well, what am I wasting my time on this for? But just the negativity within the hobby on social medias, to where it doesn't, you know. And granted, I understand everybody can misconstrue a text message. We can read a book, and
I do that on the daily, bro.
Yeah.
There's been some fights started because I didn't completely understand a text message.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
it
can
meant
even
it
do that with your.
completely different than the way I read it.
Yeah, it depends on how you take it a lot of times too. I mean, you can even do that with the people that you live with, and see, by the time you get home, you're like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" Like, what are you talking about? You know, for example, you could say "fuck you" with a smile on your face, or you could say "fuck you," you know, and it means two different things, of course. So it can be misconstrued. So the negativity within the social medias, man. And granted, yeah, avoid the social media then. Good luck in this business or any kind of industry nowadays, or business, whatever you're trying to get away with. Good luck ignoring the social medias. It's not going to happen. You have to be involved in it to a certain extent, of course. But yeah, just the negativity, man. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
So let's take that now, flip it and reverse it. That was a bad joke. Never mind.
Face down,
so
ass up.
take that, and if you could pinpoint your favorite moment within the industry now, like, so you've talked about what kind of pulls you down at times. If you could focus in on like that one specific moment that's really made your time in the industry, what would that be for you?
So easy, dude. A couple weekends ago, we were at the Pomona show. This little boy, he's probably, I don't know, man, maybe 4, 5 years old or whatever. And my wife, she had I was looking to move one of my adult breeders, and as a male, and she had him like he was just chilling on her shoulder or whatnot. And I think it was his parents saying something like, "Do you want to hold a snake?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so we got that. We pulled. Oh, his name is Ozul, the black pastel that I was looking to move. Got him off the wife's shoulders, and I got him like cuddled up, if you will, and nice and ball python. And I put it in this little boy's hands, and the face that his face just lit up, dude. His eyeballs like this. And I'm like, man, you gotta use your muscles to hold that snake. And he's just, yeah. I mean, granted, that was amazing, man. That was just like, that's why I do this right here. Because maybe in a few years, when that boy's old enough, he's gonna be able to get his own animal, and his parents will be able to buy him an animal or whatever, and he can get into. Oh, my phone's gonna die. Get into keeping reptiles, dude. That was awesome. That's just his face and everything. It's like, oh my god. That was the highlight, dude. After all the almost 5 years now, it's just a couple of weekends ago, and seeing that little boy's face light up, dude, that was just like, that's it right there. That's exactly why we're doing this.
And that's a great place to leave it, man, is the happy moment where you really like that taking that moment, that's going to drive you forward. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I was
sir.
like, I remember my first year when I started doing education shows, that same thing, right? And you're placing the snake on these kids, and their eyes are lighting up, and like mom's in fear behind, and she's like, oh, yeah, come on, mom. Come on, mom.
Yep.
You're next. You can't let the kids show you up.
It's just like that lady. She had 4 or 5 children with her, whatever. Oh shit! My wife's trying to help me out, man. I'm plugging in my phone. She keeps on moving it. What you doing, baby? Is it good? She's good now. Right on. Thank you.
You're good. And I think you have a great thing going on, man. You really are. You're doing what you love, and that's the best thing you can do.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
A lot of us can get not necessarily wrapped up in the business side of it, but if you want to make it a business, you have to kind of take that aspect, right? At least for a little while to get the ball rolling.
I made it into a business where this Ghoulsby'S Serpents is now an LLC for sure, man. I mean, it helps you out, especially like going to shows. If some kid gets bit or whatever, and they do decide to do something like that, that's a big liability, man. It's a big liability. I don't want to pay for it that way into my personal shit's going to be taken away. That's not cool, but it's possible. It's unfortunately possible.
And that's smart too. That's one of the things that I haven't really talked to a lot of people about it. I think the last person I talked about forming an LLC was probably like Josh and Bob, which was a while ago. The importance of having that aspect, having that protection, and not even just staying at like a single LLC, as weird as that sounds. You want to kind of umbrella it. And I've learned this from kind of I don't even know what you would say, my consultant, the person that teaches me business in my everyday life. Like, so I did an externship for them, and they actually just opened 2 more. So anyone that follows my Instagram, you see me post a lot for like Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Marco's Pizza. You're now seeing like this Hand and Stone massage parlor that's opening up, right? Well, those are all franchises that are opened up under my friend that I had that externship with. And he
Right
does
on.
my consulting for me weekly. He has reptiles in his office, and the way that he's helped me start my business is teaching me how to form my LLC, doing all the legal precedents for everything. He's my first regular customer, so I get paid to deliver a rat, take care of the animals in the office because they don't really have the time to take care of them 100% the way they should. So I come in weekly and I take care of the animals and
Right on. Good on you,
offer a
man.
delivery fee and get consultation at the same time. So
Very cool.
it's a great business venture. And then like things that I want to do, I like say, hey, I'm looking at this or I'm thinking about this, and they help like drive me forward and kind of guide me in the way of business. And they're like, okay, we're not going to tell you yes or no. Obviously, you're your own man. You have to make up your mind on that. But in a business sense, this is what makes sense. This is what does not make sense. Choose, which I love. It's very smart. And but yeah, 100%, dude. Like having that LLC is a huge step for everyone. I think more people should do it, regardless of the size that your whatever is.
Yeah,
Whether it's
it helps.
education,
It really
whatever.
does help. You know, just like I said, what made me do it the most is that I want to share my passion of the cold-blooded. I really just, you know, and if it comes down to it, me giving handing a snake to a child, and that unfortunately that snake comes in and whacks them, and mom and dad go, "You're done, motherfucker." I can protect myself. Now, is that a bad? It's not like there's other things, but that's just one of the biggest deals because we're going to do shows. We have done shows now, and I'm definitely going to. Hey, you want to hold this snake? Here you go. And there's that possibility to where, you know, the world's a little sensitive nowadays. Oh my God, the snake bit me.
If you only knew my daily, that sounds bad because I did at one time work with hots. Never got tagged by a hot, but
Oh, did you end up getting rid of yours, bro?
I did. So my kids figured out how to get through the first of 3 locks
Oh,
into that
fuck.
room. And once that happened, we nixed having them.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Even though I had 2 more locks for them to get through, I wasn't comfortable with it
Yeah,
anymore.
that's scary. That's scary.
And there were some animals that as a full grown adult, it'll mess you up really bad. So as a child, it's almost immediate death.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just smarter to get rid of them. And I should have listened to my mentor right off the bat, but I was being stubborn and young. I was like, well, I can handle them, and I got them under triple locks. There's no way.
And if
And
you're
then
anything like
it's
me,
find a way of proving you wrong, bro.
yeah, once somebody tells you don't do something, it's like, oh, watch this. If you, yeah, anti-authority. Don't tell me what to do. I'm going to do it.
So I want to kind of pull back just a little bit from reptiles. You're very much into the horror scene, but you said you were in a band, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I've
coming
played
up.
drums.
Do you still play?
No, unfortunately, I was playing with some buddies not too long ago. We were playing some kind of old school punk rock music and all. But I've been playing drums since my mom and dad bought me a drum set when I was 12. Thing that's funny is that I couldn't set up the drum set because my mom and dad divorced and we lived in an apartment complex. So I didn't really start playing drums till I was like 18. Me and my buddy, we started jamming together and whatnot. Then my brother, he played guitar. We invited my brother along. Then we invited another friend, and we started a punk rock band. I started playing music at 18, smacking on the drum skins and all that. We made a couple of demo albums and shit like that. Played backyard parties. Watched a lot of people beat each other up as we were playing. That was awesome. And then, I've always played drums, man. I've been playing since a young age anyway. I don't play right now, just because I used to have my drum set up in my living room, and then I got racks. So yeah, my snake hobby took over my
Vibrations.
drumming hobby. Unfortunately, I should say unfortunately, because I was always like, masturbation's fun, but sex is better kind of deal. And you play drums by yourself. You play drums by yourself, and it's like, that's cool, but it's funner to play with other people. And I was always trying to get other people together, and it wasn't really happening. So I found that, once I found the snakes and everything, I'm like, I don't have to rely on other people for the time being. I mean, granted, I have my wife now to help me out with that, but yeah, I've been smacking on the drum skins for quite a few years now, man. I wish I was still doing it. Me and my buddy, we started something else up not too long ago, once again, but we were driving quite a distance to play, and the gas prices went up and things like that. It just was not worth the cash flow. In my, it's just sitting in traffic for an hour and a half to go play some music or whatnot, and then plus you're paying to play, and then driving home. It was too much. It was way too much. And then I started doing rats too. So
what made you choose drums of all things, and who would you say like kind of took, or you kind of pulled from as your, how do you put this? Like who would you say you pulled your style from?
Dave Lombardo of Slayer,
Okay.
Igor from Sepultura, Nick Barker from Dimmu Borgir, and yeah, it's about those are about main three drummer influences for sure.
Dude, like I never went into drums. Like I could hold a 4-beat, like something simple, but I can't do all of that. But I always had like a fascination to do it after watching Tommy Lee. Like the
Tommy
first
Lee,
time I watched him freaking do the flip around with the concert set was just like, oh, I want to be a badass drummer. And then I
I'll
picked
have
up
to
a
add that
guitar,
to
and it
me,
was so much easier, bro.
It's
And
like
now
my
I don't
brother,
even
man.
do that. Like it's horrible. I've lost everything, but
Yeah, my brother, he used to lock himself up in our bedrooms, because me and my brother, we grew up sharing a bedroom. And when we became, like teenagers, he used to lock himself up in the room for 3 or 4 hours after we got home from school. And he just learned Slayer by ear and everything. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you do that? But I just smacked the drums, because what do you call a drummer or a person that hangs out with musicians? A drummer.
so no, like that's the way my college buddy was too, though. But like he's just super musically inclined, but he would do like he had only been playing, I think, like 4 or 5 years at the time when I had met him. And which it's not a long time, but it's not a short time either. And he was already using a double bass, and he was doing like some wicked hard songs, man. Like he would play everything at like, I forget what the tempo was, but like you'd have the tempo beat or the tempo counter on the thing, and he would double it, and he'd try to play the songs at like a double tempo, and just like
That's
within
just the
5 minutes
thing,
you
man.
just see sweat flying all over the room. And you're like, bro, stay out of my room. You're fucking nasty. But
Yeah. That's like when we were jamming, man. We'd be in a fucking hot ass garage. My buddy John would be on bass. My buddy Rob would be on guitar. Matter of fact, my buddy Rob is the one that drew the logo. My buddy Rob
okay,
Fowden.
nice. Oh yeah.
He drew the logo. But those guys, man, they'd be chilling with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth, just like just drilling the strings. And I'd be back there like, fuck, dude, what? I can't breathe. I can't breathe. We're locked up in a hot ass garage. It's 110 degrees out. Both of you motherfuckers are smoking. I gotta play the drums, man, and I can't breathe. I feel like I got a baby coming out of my back and shit. What the hell?
He
Yeah,
tried to teach
drums.
me. So that's where I learned the 4-beat was from my buddy Brad. Like I finally looked at him because I'd sit there and I listened to a lot of Santana, as weird as that sounds, like it just because of where I grew up. So it was very Hispanic prominent, right?
All right.
So like I listened to Santana, and I listened to like a lot of mariachi music. And funny thing is, like, I'm probably one of the only white boys that's ever been a part of a I'm gonna say this wrong, folklorico group. There's like the old traditional folk dances for Hispanic culture, like
Oh, all right. Now
yeah.
is that
So they
include
didn't
those
have
boots
enough.
now with the big swirls,
Yeah,
like
with the
tail
big
swirls?
sombreros
Oh,
and the
all
whole
right.
get up, like the whole mariachi get up and all that, and we do like the hat dance and la marcha and all of that. Like at, at one point, I knew all of them, but like they didn't have enough
Dude, showing
male.
off, man. Get up and do it, John.
I can't do that shit, bro. I can't even move my hips anymore. Like I'm beat down. Um, but it was just like because of the culture that I grew up in, that was what was prominent, right? So that was what I was a part of besides my sports. And so I listened to that. I listened to a lot of like oldies, like early Metallica. As bad as it sounds, Pat Benatar. The first song I learned on guitar was "Hit Me with Your Best Shot," and it's one of the only songs that I still remember to this day because it's just power chords.
Right on, right on.
But
Ain't nothing wrong with Pat Benatar, man. That's for damn sure. I'll listen to it. I don't own it, but I'll listen to it.
Right, right. I'll listen to anything now, man. Like I'll listen to everything from like classical to just instrumental to whatever. I've changed a lot. Like I remember back in the day, it was like if it didn't scream at you or it didn't have a growl, I didn't want to listen to it. And now I'm just like,
I feel you. Very closed-minded when we're growing up and young. Yeah, definitely.
The age is starting to show a little bit of maturing, I guess.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was very closed-minded when it came to music. If it's not punk rock, if it's not death metal, if it's not black metal, it ain't any good. I mean, granted, I like some hip hop, Eazy-E, NWA, Beastie Boys, growing up and everything. That shit was cool. But other than that, but now I'll listen to one country music artist. That's about it, though. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
You know what I'm going to do the rest of this week?
I won't talk shit.
Well,
I won't talk shit, but country
all
music.
of next week, I'm sending you country songs until I hear you say, I like this one. This one's okay.
I can dig some Chris Stapleton. Maybe some old, what's her name, man? Oh, my mom used to listen to her all the time. Wasn't Reba McEntire, damn it. Patsy Cline. Patsy Cline.
Okay.
Patsy Cline. I can handle that woman's voice. But other than that, dude, I'm like, that's no talent bullshit. I miss my beer, my truck, and my dog. Fuck you. Sorry.
Bro, that's what I sing to my kids to put them to sleep at night. I have 3 or 4 songs that I do regularly, almost every night, and it's so I do the Rodeo by Garth Brooks, and then I'll sing Austin and Old Red by Blake Shelton, which is weird because besides Austin, the other 2 songs are kind of a faster tempo, so you would think it wouldn't put them to sleep, but those are the songs they usually fall asleep to. So
do you sing on a regular? So I would imagine you sing on.
No, well, I mean, I sing to them every night, but I hate my voice. Like I've already said, I hate my freaking voice. I don't like singing in front of people. I told my sister, so she lives out in Cali. She's in Northern Cali now, and she was at one point talking about potentially auditioning for The Voice. And like I said, I hate my voice, but I told her, if you set up your audition, I will go with you. I will do this to like booed and kicked off stage just so you feel better about yourself. I don't care.
You're right on, man.
But, and at one point we were going to actually do it. Like, I think this was like 4 years ago or so. We were actually going to do it. I was going to go right after a Pomona show because the LA tryouts for The Voice were like the following week.
Was that the weekend that you and the family were here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right, cool.
But she chickened out, and I definitely chickened out. But like,
damn,
it's just one of those things, man. Like, and I do Blake Shelton pretty well, but it's one of those things that I wouldn't be able to do it in front of people. And then if he actually said something, he's like, "Dude, you couldn't hold it." I'd be like, "Okay, I'm never singing again."
You thrashed my ego too much, man. I can't see my children anymore. Damn.
But It's a good time, man. Like
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I love music.
Good on you,
I
man.
wish I was more
Kids.
gifted in it.
I'm sorry, man. I was talking with you.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Like my kids enjoy it, and I love music. I wish I was more gifted in it.
I feel you. Like my brother, he can play guitar, he can play bass. He actually has a decent voice. He can play the drums. I'm like, I can play the drums. It runs in the family. Like I got a lot of people I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there's some family in the music industry on my mom's side of the family to where the music kind of deal just kind of flows. People can sing. I can't sing that I know of anyway. I really haven't tried, but yeah, it's in my mom's side of the family for sure.
Nice. So if you weren't doing music or you weren't doing snakes, what would you be doing?
Porn star.
That's it. Have a great night, y'all.
Shit.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, when I was younger, that's all I wanted to do was play drums for a living. That would be badass. That would be badass. But other than that, man, John, honestly, bro, I grew up doing a lot of partying and, you know, not a lot of guidance in my life, if you will. Not to tell a boohoo story, just to be straight up. So I really didn't know what the hell I wanted throughout my life, man. I was good at partying a whole hell of a lot, you know. But yeah, drumming for sure. You too, huh?
We'll just say there's a reason I remember bits and pieces from middle school on, but before middle school, I don't really remember much.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, man, drumming would be bitching, dude. Be able to tour the world and play drums for a living. I mean, oh.
That's awesome, dude. Well, we've talked about your projects. We've talked about kind of what makes you you. What fascinated you with horror before we jump off of it? Like what was the thing that caught your attention with horror?
Shock value. Just shock value. I am still that way. I like shock value. You know, it makes somebody stop in their tracks and go, "Oh shit!" You know, me and my boy, we were watching that new. I mean, I kind of crashed out a little bit, but new movie on Netflix. I don't even know what it's called. It's got Jamie Foxx, Snoop Dogg.
It's that vampire show, right?
Yeah. One of the Franco brothers, the younger Franco brother, he's in that one. But I was kind of in and out of consciousness, watching it with him or whatnot, just kind of, you know, waking up throughout the day or for the day. And yeah, man, you know, there were decapitations and blood flying everywhere, whatever. It was a good time. But yeah, it's shock value, straight up, man.
I remember, like, what was it? Early high school, college days, I guess, when RedTube was a big thing.
RedTube?
So it was like the YouTube of gore, man. Like,
never heard of it.
You'd see like auto accidents where people were like sent flying out of the car and like decapitated and all kinds of like shootings, stuff like that. And me and my buddy in high school, we watched a lot of it because we both worked at a hospital. And there's some stuff that you saw in the hospital where you're just like, man, this messes you up. And we would go home.
Oh, definitely.
Like he was a surgical tech and I was a CNA, but every now and then I would get to help with the surgical techs because I was trying to get into a program the hospital had. And there's some stuff that you would see and you're just like, we would get home and I shit you not, we would be like, today sucked. We have to be in work in like 8 hours. We're going to go buy a 30 rack and we're going to finish the 30 rack and forget. And it was like that for a while. And then we started like numbing ourselves to everything by watching RedTube, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like growing up and everything. We had Traces of Death and Faces of Death. So, you know, I'd watch those and be, oh my God, that's great. But I never heard of the YouTube. 1 second, John, I'm going to check something.
Hey, you're good, bro. You're good. It's like, it's one of those things though. Like you submerge yourself into it so much that you freaking, you just become almost numb to it. And it helped for the aspect of what we were doing. And it was kind of the aspect that I took when I went into the military as well, because that's what you're expecting to see, right? Is death and destruction and all that craziness, especially as a medic, because you can't, as a medic, like the entire training, that's all they're telling you about. They're like, either you're going to die or everyone around you is going to die. And
Yeah,
you need to be prepared for it. And no
Yeah.
matter what you do, everyone's going to die. And if
they're making
freaking
you fucking
fucks
paranoid.
with your head for almost a whole year, man. Like
Yeah.
that's all they're doing is saying everyone around you is going to die and there's nothing you can do about it, which is true, but isn't true at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's and it was just, it's that numbing process, which is what we did when we were younger. And then you see it and you're like, man, if like, I can't believe I did that to myself. And now you look back at it and like, you look at the PTSD and all that shit, and you're like, I started that on my own self. Like, I inflicted all of that crap on myself, which is horrible. But
because I used to, as a farm tech, I used to work at a hospital and I would have to deliver meds to people's rooms and everything. Yeah, you see dead people. You see some shit that you're like, not everybody sees on a daily basis, if you will. Maybe myself, you don't see it on a daily basis. But when it happens, you're just like, holy shit. Remember one time, my cousin and I were hanging out in the afternoon and we're looking up shit on the internet. And by the time we were done, we were like, well, I don't know what to do with my life anymore. We just screwed ourselves up, dude. It was just like, what the hell did we just get done watching? Why did we watch it? What's wrong with us?
Shock value.
Yeah, shock value.
Oh, man. All right. So we've ran it. I know we had a brief intermission that I'm going to have to take care of, but Adam, I really freaking appreciate your time tonight, brother. I got to go get those hooligans in the other room down for bed.
Yeah, right on, bro.
I have most of your information down below, but if we want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you right now?
You can direct message me through Facebook Messenger if you have Facebook, but Facebook. I always refer to it as Facebook. Instagram, and my phone number is 909-725-4258. You don't have to buy anything from me, but you have a question about keeping, maintenance, breeding, anything, hit me up. And if I don't get to you right away, I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Once again, as we talked, I work 40 hours a week as well. And I get, like one of my clients, he hit me up yesterday, go, hey man, can you send me a picture of this and that? Yeah, cool. I totally spaced it. I felt like a dick, but I got it sent over today. So right on. But yeah, those ways. And also for merchandise is Ghoulsby'S Serpents.threadless.com. You can make your own shirt anyway. I have 4 different flavors of this logo on it. You can make any shirt, any color, 4 different choices from. So yeah, that as well. Oh yeah. But yeah, John, I appreciate it, man. I had a good time hanging out with you, bro.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
We'll cut it up again.
Being dads or whatever. I mean, a lot of times I don't get the hell out of the house and just be able to pick up homeboy, talk some snakes and shit. It was a good time. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you, brother. It was a great time.
Right
I hope you all enjoyed it, even with our crazy little brief intermission, whatever you want to call that psychotic stuff that happened. Freaking weather, man. Freaking weather. Yeah. Never had internet go out before, but appreciate y'all. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next weekend on the next one. Have a great night.